Just hours before Jerome's biggest speech of the year, the Federal Reserve is in complete chaos. Multiple Fed presidents are publicly saying that we will get no rate cuts. The market odds are getting worse, and now the Department of Justice is urging to investigate one of the Fed's own governors. The institution is in mess. Let's get started, man. We got a lot to talk about. We got the Jackson Hole 30 minutes before market opens, and we have a lot to talk about with that, especially with the rate cut odds, market sell off, and what the market could basically do with it. We've been selling off all week because of this. People are taking risk off, and we've been seeing healthcare go up. We're going to be talking about a big stock that probably made a lot of you guys money if you guys listen to me. But with that being said, man, let's get started with this video. So first off, we're going to start off with the Fed Watch tool. We've been watching this all week, and it's been changing all week. As of today, there's a 26.5% chance of a pause and now a 73% chance of a cut. This has been changing, and back in August 13th, we actually had a 0% chance of a pause. Now the numbers are switching. So investors have been using this in their trade, and we've been seeing a decent sell-off, especially with these moving off. So watch how the rates change overall with the Jackson Hole event. So their Fed Watch tool is more on the futures, and that's kind of more accurate, but on Kalshi, man, we do see different rates, and the rates are pretty worse, showing a 38% chance of a pause and a 62% chance of a 25 basis point cut. And honestly, man, there's $160 million into this. So this one is honestly, people are betting big on this. And we've been seeing a lot of Fed officials come out basically saying that the data doesn't really show any sign for a cut. But we also seen yesterday that Cleveland Fed President Beth Hammack said that with the data we have today, there is no case for cutting interest rates, and this actually brought some more selling pressure in the market yesterday. We were indeed looking good at first. I'm not even gonna lie. The SPY was going up. I thought maybe we could test, that 640 level, but then we started selling off quickly after that. And honestly, man, we've been stuck in this range with the SPY overall. But we have been indeed seeing a lot of selling going into this event, making it look a little bit more bearish. We see a lot of people de-risking and people potentially just taking profits overall. But even if the market does drop with this event, we can still position some bigger trades overall. So we can watch that 633 level on the SPY. It's been stuck in this range recently, so we can either see it break below this range, up or down. But seeing how this event could go, I'm leaning more in the bearish. But you never know what could happen. Be willing to adjust as we go. But a little bull case is basically Jerome coming out showing, a sooner rate cut than everybody thinks. And bear, no rate cuts at all this year and or just later on. One thing that I had to include was ATAI, man. This thing made a breakout yesterday and it was kind of insane. We've been in this range. I mean, we kind of made a breakout before and then we broke to like the $4 level and we've kind of just been in this range for the past couple of days. But yesterday we finally made a breakout and it's still looking pretty bullish overall. I'm not saying buy at the highs, never do that. But my next positioning is going to be that 360 level for this stock. But honestly, man, I'm just showing this for people that did get in when I told you guys to get in at that 260 level. Now you guys are benefiting a lot. And honestly, man, we can potentially make another breakout. But it can be a good time to take profit if you did get in at that 260 and just reposition a little bit later on. So for earnings for the rest of the week, we don't really have anything major, but we did have Walmart report earnings yesterday and honestly had a big sell-off after that. Walmart came out and said that tariff impacts are relatively muted. And also, the AI is not really lifting their top line yet. So they're not really profitable with AI, but we've seen this with 95% of the companies that invested in AI overall. Walmart reported mixed second quarter results this morning, beating revenue, but missing on adjustment earnings per share, the profit. The report does highlight the company's struggle with the impact of tariffs on imported goods, leading to a negative reaction from investors overall. We did see that sell-off like I showed earlier. The earnings per share was 68 cents adjusted versus the 74 expected. Revenue was 177.4 billion versus 176 billion, which beat the revenue, like I said before. Walmart US same-store sales up 4.6%, beating the 4% estimate. US e-commerce sales grew by 26%. While sales numbers look strong, the key story is the pressure from tariffs. Walmart has previously warned that it needs to raise prices due to the higher levies on imported goods. And according to the articles, some of those price hikes on items like jeans and car seats have already hit the shelves. This strategy to pass cost to consumers in a politically charged environment appears to be impacting the company's profitability, which is reflecting in the earnings miss overall. So we did see a big miss with Walmart and honestly some other stocks this week. So honestly, earnings didn't really look too good overall this week. First link in the description below, I have a bunch of courses to help you guys become more profitable. So go check out these courses with that code down below. You guys can get 50% off, and the courses are already relatively cheap. But moving on to the stock market calendar, we did get some decent data yesterday. So we had the initial jobless claims come in at 235. The expected was 225. The counted claims was 1972, and the expected was 1960. PMI, the US PMI report came in at 55.4. The estimate was 54.2, and the previous was 55.7. Manufacturing PMI came in at 53.3. Estimate was 49.7. Previous was 49.8. And the composite PMI was at 55.4. Estimate was 53.5. Previous was 55.1. Home sales, 4 million.01. The expected was 3.92. And the last was 3.93. So honestly, data came in pretty hot overall. So another Fed came in basically saying that there's no urgency to cut interest rates. Inflation is still a main concern and is closer to 3% than the Fed's 2% target. He wants to be patient and wait for very definitive data showing inflation is defeated before considering a rate cut. He believes the current policy is in a really good spot and appropriate for the economy. Essentially, he does have a hawkish stance, meaning that he is more concerned about fighting inflation than cutting rates to stimulate the economy overall. The odds of uncertainty ahead of Jerome's major speech tomorrow. Another one, ESPN has officially launched its long-awaited direct-to-consumer streaming service, marking a historic shift that allows fans to watch a full suite of ESPN's live channels, including the main ESPN network, ESPN2, and more without a cable subscription for the first time. Key details with this, the all-new, all-exclusive service called ESPN Unlimited costs $30 a month. The old, more limited ESPN Plus service has been renamed to ESPN Select and keeps its price overall. Boeing in talks to sell as many as 500 jets to China, a landmark deal that could end years-long sales drought for the manufacturer in the world's second largest aviation market overall. So this did bring Boeing up overall, but honestly kind of volatile as well. President Trump was on Truth Social yesterday, using a sports analogy to describe the conflict. He compared Ukraine to a sports team with a fantasy defense, but is not allowed to play offense, blaming the previous administration policy for not allowing Ukraine to fight back, only defend overall. This comes amid a significant shift in its diplomatic strategy. After a week of high-level meetings, reports indicate Trump is now stepping back from the direct involvement in organizing a peace summit. He now believes President Putin and President Zelensky should hold a bilateral meeting on their own. So this news came out yesterday. He was posting on Truth Social and honestly still beefing with Jerome overall. We also had Trump buy $100 million in bonds. Bonds benefit if a rate cut. So he's betting $100 million of his own money on interest rate cuts overall. The purchases are spread across 700 transactions and include corporate bonds for major companies like Meta and T-Mobile. While the White House states the investments are managed by a third party, the news has renewed concerns among ethics experts about potential conflicts of interest overall. But honestly, man, he's betting his own money on interest rates, basically, in short. We also seen another deal with EU will impose 50% tariffs on autos, down from the previous 25%. We did see a big green after market after this news came out, but sold off quickly after when we got that news with the Fed overall. I feel like people aren't even focused on trade deals no more, mainly on the Fed right now. And then next week we got Nvidia, so keep that in mind. We also still got the Lisa Cook thing. So DOJ official is urging Jerome to remove Lisa Cook, and the DOJ is intending to investigate her over mortgages. Just a little summary, she is paying lower interest rate than everybody else, and it just seems unfair that the Fed does not have to stick with the rates that they make everybody else basically stick to. But we're also getting some bearish news overall for Nvidia. So Nvidia centered on reports that company has instructed its suppliers to halt production of its H20 artificial intelligence chip, a product specifically designed for the Chinese market. You know, we got a lot of pump when they were allowed to sell it back to China, but basically China has been telling the firms not to use the H20 chip. So there's basically beef between Nvidia and China right now with their chips. So right now we got some bad news last night saying that Nvidia halted the production of it. Honestly, they're probably just saying, just giving up because they can't sell it anyway. There's no point to spend the money if they can't sell it. So if this gets solved, we might see some more bullish bullish sense into Nvidia. But right now, honestly, I mean, this isn't really gonna like mess them up too much. I think it's mainly what's gonna go on with the Jackson Hole overall. But with that being said, man, good luck trading today, man. We're not going to go towards any supports and resistance. I want to see how the Jackson Hole goes first, and then we can get to the supports and resistance. We're going to have some more videos for you guys this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Follow me on X, NextGen Wealth, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.